And I think the thing that is the Duke level demon that is possessing him, I think the demon kind of is now going to be pushing him to be more outspoken, to become more, to have a greater attitude of, I'm entitled, you can't do this to me, etc. The one thing that this demon entity is going to do, which I can't tell you exactly what the dateline is, but I think that this thing is going to push to have him basically cut off from pretty much from everything. So we know he's lost his titles, he can't use his name, he can't do all of that, but he is still, and I did check this morning when I looked at the who would be next in line, he is still in 8th place. He's still there. So I'm predicting that there will be an active petition made to wherever it needs to go, either to the PM or directly to Parliament, but that is coming, and that's going to be coming pretty quickly. They're going to want to distance themselves from him. They will need to ask his brother as well to say, this is what we're doing. We're going to be bringing this through, push it through all the various channels as quickly as possible. Get a wiggle on, because when this turns sour, it's going to be unbelievably sour.
There was a strange story, and I know I didn't send you this one, and I've not asked you about this one before, but a guy that Prince Andrew calls his best pal, Mogens Tolstrup, went down in a plane crash earlier this month in South Africa and ended up in intensive care. And this guy was partying hardcore with Andrew and models, etc. Before Andrew went full on with Jeffrey, and people are suspicious that this guy Mogens probably knows a lot of secrets about Andrew as well, and this plane crash is no coincidence. What's your instinct telling you on that one, Beverli?
I think, with my significant background in dealing with these types of people, and, knowing those that I knew and when I did those 9 years of issues, that this has got the stamp, and the classic stamp of, we're worried that you're going to open your mouth, mate, so we're just going to take you out. If you're lying in ICU somewhere, you're not going to be able to talk about anything, and no one will believe you because maybe your memory's a bit fading, because of the accident. And this is always the way that they do this. They always make sure that they have a way to look at your reputation and annihilate it. So this person, I think, that you've got on the screen, I think that, he is definitely, he's been what they call a shot over the bow. They will, when you're in this type of world, they will warn you. So that would be a warning. The next time you're not going to be warned, mate, you're going to be 6 feet under. So I don't think he will come out and say anything against Andrew, because I think he's accepted the warning and he'll back off.
Yeah, this is the South African friend, his best pal, apparently, Andrew's best pal. And we've been researching the story, and there's no further news about him, no information coming out about him. It's been completely suppressed. And what we did find out, though, is this guy, Mogens, was dating Lady Victoria Hervey.
Oh, no surprise there.
Yep. So it's just one big incestuous circle, indeed.
Absolutely.
But apparently Mogens is still alive. He was in intensive care, and that's all that we know. There's no update on this one. So yes, Andrew certainly knows the stakes because of this. So that's that question asked. Now let's see. Okay, so Fields of Gold. Bev, can you tell if there's any life in the young girl on the floor with Andy? Is she in or out of consciousness? I'll get that one back up on the screen. Let's see, where is it?
Thanks for that question, Fields of Gold. That's a great question, by the way.
Yeah, it's there's not much of it showing on this photo. If I can, there's so many bloody photos open right now. If I can find it, but if you look at Andrew's face on this one, versus his post-release face. I mean, his demon looks like it's in full flow there to me, Beverli.
It is full flow. Yeah, you're getting good, Shaun, at recognizing when the demons have incorporated with the human body. That is exactly what that is, because that smacks of the same thing of him sitting in the back car of the vehicle. You know, you could see he had exactly the same look on his face. So when that look comes, you know it's not Andrew. It's whatever the thing is, the Duke level demon. That's what's there. Yes, I think that there is, from what I can see, there is an energy field around her. So I do think that she's definitely alive. She's not unalive. She definitely is alive.
Thank you for the super chat, Max. We're going to be getting to Leslie Wexner's Dybbuk here soon. We're just doing Andrew first. So if you've got any questions pertaining to Andrew, get them in the chat. And Susan wants to know if Andrew may have a similar fate as Princess Diana.
Well, from when I started doing the remote viewing over him, the one of the past, because with these royal families, they never get given one path of destiny. There's not one timeline. So I can tune into them in the morning, and then something they will choose, free will, they will choose to do something unsavory, and that will change the timeline. So with his timeline, there is a possibility that there would be a similar type of ending, but it is somebody that has actually, it would be what they call a high level hit. They will call for him to be removed, but that's only if he starts singing like a jaybird. If he starts singing and talking about stuff, then that's it. He would have sealed his fate. And that's why his energies are so weird right now, because he really does not know which way to go, because he doesn't have his mum with him anymore to be able to tell him, look, this is what we should do. This is how we should play this. And I think he does know that Charlie boy knew months ago that he was going to be arrested. So and that's just making him hate him even more.
Susan's also asking, is it, I think she's asking, is it an underage girl on the floor, or is it a young woman?
It's not an underage, it's a young woman.
All right. So we had this statement then from Charles. Let's see if we can find it. And to me, it just rang a bit hollow. There he is. I'll put his face up there, and I will read it to you. King Charles statement: Andrew arrested. Because I've said it, on previous streams. It reminded me of when the Clintons' brother got arrested, and they had a crisis meeting, and they just turned it to their advantage, saying we're not above the law. But they would have protected him if they had a chance, but it was outed to the media, so they couldn't stop it from getting out there. So I'll read you what the king said about Andrew's arrest. I've learned with the deepest concern the news about Andrew Mountbatten Windsor and suspicion of misconduct in public office. What now follows is the full, fair and proper process by which the issue is investigated in the appropriate manner by the appropriate authorities. In this, as I have said before, they have our full and wholehearted support and cooperation. Let me state clearly, the law must take its course. As this process continues, it would not be right for me to comment further on this matter. Meanwhile, my family and I will continue in our duty and service to you all. Charles R. All right, so I've got a series of questions for you about that statement. Okay. The first one is, did he even write that? Or was it written for him?
I didn't see any of the usual his usual speak that he would have used before. Don't see any of that in that. I think that he was given that to approve, but I think somebody else wrote that for him and said, is this good enough, and then he would have said yes or no, or changed something minor, but I don't see the type of language that he would have used. I don't see that in that statement, no.
All right, so the first line then, he's saying he's learned with deep concern the news about the arrest. He's acting as if he's only just found out. Is that true or not?
No, I didn't get that energy from him. I did 2 drawings, one of him and one of Camilla last year, actually, around about November, December time, and they did have a very strange lot of energy. He was already aware last year, December time in 2025, he knew that at some point this year there would be an arrest that would go forward. But he also knew it was not for SRA or CA or transportation of any type. He also knew that it was going to be procedural incorrectness. So in other words, procedurally sharing information where he shouldn't have shared it, that would be his downfall. He knew that as well. And very cleverly, when I looked at his energy just said, there's many ways to skin a cat, and we're going to skin this cat in a different way, because if he had agreed to this level of investigation into his brother for the other references, the Epstein connection as well as SRA and all these other aspects, he knew full well that would not stick. But he does know of procedural incorrectness. He knows personally of that, and that stands a far better chance to stick than the others. I mean, look at how they got Capone and others. I mean, tax evasion, how simple is that? But, the law is the law. And that's why he's very purposely said the law must run its course. Yes, because there will be evidence, and there is a load of evidence in the files, the Epstein files, loads of evidence. And I think that they will very shortly start uncovering all the PDFs and all of the information and what was being sent backwards and forwards. It's possible, very possible, that at one of his houses that he has actually got some of the printed out information that he should not have kept. It's possible. He just needs one of them to be there, and then that will definitely cause a defined criminal investigation where he will become a person of interest. And that's still to come. It's going to happen.
Well, even though it is a procedural allegation, if it does indeed go to court, it is an aggravating circumstance when it comes to your sentencing if your payment for giving this information out was of a sexual nature. So, so that side of his alleged activities may get entered into court at some point anyway, which I find interesting. And it's also an aggravating circumstance if you've done it more than once.
Correct. Yes. And I think there's quite a few survivors that were part of the, payment and making good upon whatever it was he was involved with. I mean, he just have to just follow the money in this case. Follow the money, because the women, wine, woman, and song will become very obvious, because there's just follow the money and you'll see exactly where that goes. But at the same time, you're going to find that there will be pressure put on the Ghislaine Maxwell issue, because she's always claimed that she could get him out of this spot of bother. So there might be something on the side that comes up with her once she's out, which will be this year quite soon. I think she's going to be coming out because her whole energy has changed. I reckon if we're lucky, we might even get to hear that she gets to see Easter at home, or she gets to see one of the big celebrations at home in her own place, because she's changed completely. If you look at what she used to look like in the previous prison to the one that she's in now in Texas, she's changed her hair, she's changed her way, she's wearing the drop earrings, she's doing her yoga, she's petting the pooches, she's doing all of that. So this is what she used to look like. But if you look at her with her deposition and where she was questioned, she's got that short cropped boyish hair back to her usual self. Immediately that energy told me her energy's changed. She's getting out of there, and she will. Something is going to happen that will give her the freedom that she needs.